Welcome in everyone to our fourth last impact of the next 3 rounds. And yes, I know there will be two there where it will be 2 weeks and then 1 week, but we'll keep up the schedule. And I'm very, very glad that you guys have been around for this year. It's been basically 13 to 14, let's say 14 videos there with some different random ones every single week for 23 rounds, plus all of the daily preseason stuff. So you guys can do the maths. It's upwards of 300 or so from round 1 all the way through to round 23 and round 24 now about to start. So thank you to everyone for being here and being a part of that for another awesome year. I was just kind of reflecting on the year that was, and it's been, crazy amount of time, obviously heading into about 6 months now or close to it of the season with 4 rounds to go. And we will continue with content around the final series as well. And the things we learned from the week, bit of a deeper analysis into those games and the things that I saw that were fun to see, and some of the storylines coming out of it as well. So if you guys are interested in that, stick around for that, and then we'll get into some other sports. But for now, the next 3 rounds we're going to focus on, and we have one more team that have got through their bye, and that's the Roosters, and they actually come into number 1 best buys for the week. So let's kick it off by going through 1, 2, 3, all the way to 5, and then go through the other teams there. But Roosters in at number 1 now, the only team that I have with a blue colouring there as the easier type of draw. And it's more because the quality of their side coming up against some sort of middle of the run type of teams. And you got the Eels that are playing pretty well at the moment. So that'll be a fun clash, but I do expect some points in that game, which will be sweet from a fantasy and Supercoach perspective. The Titans away, they did get beat 44-0 the other day, so there's definitely some points on offer for the Roosters in that one. And then the Raiders, I think there's definitely points on offer there as well. And they should be able to win those 3 matches. So now they've got their bye out of the way, there is still a chance of some rest. I did pop it down to 50% just because I think they'll be fighting for the top 4. And they just had their bye then. And we know that they usually play most of their stars, or pretty well a full team, in that final round against the Rabbitohs each and every year. They probably should move that to a different round, but anyway, that's where we're looking at right now. So Roosters have so many targets. Obviously, Manu comes into people's thoughts there as well now, among a heap of other options in Teddy, Watson, in Crichton. The list goes on, obviously, there as well. So good stuff for anyone in that team that you want to be purchasing. Number 2 goes to the Seagulls. So they have the Warriors at home into Tigers away and then Bulldogs away. So it's a little bit of a tougher finish. But these next 2 games, there should be plenty of points on offer. And that's basically all we're looking for here, aren't we, for a 4-week run, is guys like Turbo, guys like DCE, guys like Garrick, guys like Olakawatu, all could do incredible efforts here for your side. So have a look at those guys. I think they're the number 2 team to target right now. The Knights have got through the Tigers there. So now it's a little bit harder for them. The Sharks away into Rabbitohs and Titans. So those 2 should be pretty good. Finishing off with the Dolphins as well in round 27. Most of those guys should be playing. There shouldn't be any resting. They're pushing for the 8, even though they're very much an outside chance. But obviously Ponga, you've got Gagai as 2 clear options there that haven't got out of hand in price and can definitely have a cracking finish to the year. But it will be a tougher assignment against the Sharkies for sure. So keep an eye on that one. And do you wait one more week before you go for any of these guys? Doggies I have next, still in number 4. Dolphins, Warriors, Eagles. So the next 3 for them. So should be plenty of points available for them in the next couple. And there's still some guys on offer in Karaz, in Preston, in even a little kick-out random play could be fun. You got Burton. Probably not Reid Marnie anymore, to be fair. But Josh Curran's in there as well after a good game on the weekend. In probably lower minutes than you might have hoped for as an owner, but still scored really well with a 53. And then the Sharkies, number 5 there. As you can tell, all of these teams don't have a bye anymore to come, which is ideal. But Sharkies now, after that good win, there's plenty of points for them now in Knights, in Dragons, and Warriors. So they probably have one of the easier runs, and they could almost have the blue tag on that one. I'm just going to leave it off because I think those 3 teams are all fighting for something. Knights, Dragons, and that Warriors one is SJ's last game. So have it as a little bit of a harder kind of stretch of games than it may have been if these guys were out of contention for the 8 and the Wars weren't. It wasn't SJ's final game. And hopefully he's actually back for the next few with that quad issue that he's picked up, unfortunately. But yeah, Sharky's in a really good spot to pounce in his last 4 games and do really well. So yeah, a bunch of guys on offer in Nickera, and obviously Iro's still there. You could jump on an Atkinson or something like that if Trindle's out for a few more weeks. But let's move on to the Tigers now, who still have a bye remaining, and I wouldn't be purchasing any of their players anymore. It's getting too close to that bye. I think round 26 might be tough with some Storm players potentially out. So lock in Tigers just a hold, or potentially a Fainu sell would be where you're at. You're holding Galvin, you're holding a Porter. That's probably all you've got from the Tigers at this point. The Titans up next. They've got the Dragons, the Roosters, and the Knights. 2 of those games away, and home game at least against the Roosters there. So not the easiest run, not the hardest. They'll be fine. I think you're holding guys like Fafita, you're holding Fermor, you're holding guys like Campbell for the most part there with him. And it's probably all you need to do with those Titans guys. Keeney, same deal. And Randall, same deal there as well on a hold. Dolphins, they have the first or second hardest draw here, in my opinion. You've got the Bulldogs away, Storm away, into the Broncos at home. And we'll see how they play after having a bye this week. See if they come home with a wet sail, that's for sure. But as we know with Dolphins games, there's plenty of points available. So still guys like, Herbie, guys like Plath can all do a decent job still. But I wouldn't be expecting them to come out and win 2 out of these 3 games. It's probably 1 out of 3 I think they win. And the only thing that kind of helps them, I suppose, is that they're really fighting for a spot in the 8 now. So that's that with the Storm, with the Dolphins. With the Storm, they do have the Panthers this week, so I can't recommend any of them as being buys. But the fact that there's still a good chance of them resting players in one of these games, given they're in that top 2, I think is the main worry here with the Storm. And you're definitely holding guys. Some of them could end up being a sell if they are out in around 26 or something like that. But until that happens, you're holding steady and not buying any of these players or selling them for now, unless it's Sean Bloor, which I might dabble with because I can go him to Ponga this week, for example. Panthers, they're next up. But firstly, I just want to mention some news. I'm sure most of you have caught it now, but I don't know how he got through. It must have happened right. I'll have to go back and check if I end up wanting to. But Madison broken 3 ribs, I reckon. So most likely he's out for it's 3 to 4 weeks is a normal kind of run for these types of injuries. But with 4 rounds to go and then being out of the finals, the comment on NRL Physio's tweet was pretty funny afterwards. It was like 3 to 4 weeks he'll likely be out. And the comment was, yeah, perfect. He'll be ready for round 1 of the finals. So well played on that one. Yeah, Matto's going to be out, so that's an unfortunate one. And it looks like it'll be 3 to 4 weeks. It might be the full season. And I don't see really any reason of him coming back after 3 weeks and returning in round 27. Seems like a bit of a mistake there. So he's out. He's going to be a sell. But do you use him as a looper this week, or do you look to sell him? That's probably the big question there. So it's a tough one for owners, that one for sure. My head-to-head team has him, and that's a bit of a blow. Panthers, still a chance of a rest. I think it'll happen in one of those last 2 rounds. So Storm, Raiders, Rabbitohs into Titans. It's a pretty good run overall. I would have had it in the blue for them, apart from this Storm matchup here. So once they get through that, it'll be an easier finish to the year for them. But that's still a solid little run here. The Storm do leak some points, but we'll see if they really step up and defend well against the Panthers this week. And the Panthers didn't play incredibly well last week, so they'll be looking to bounce back and play even better to finish this game, to finish this season, leading into the finals. So the Rabbitohs are next. They've got the Tigers away, which is still going to be fun for them. I think it'll be a good little clash there. Tigers putting on some points, and we'll see if Rabbitohs defensively can be good, as long as their attack is continuing to go well also. But into the Knights and then the Panthers in round 26 is going to be the tougher one. I'm not excited for that one personally, as someone that owns a bunch of Rabbitohs players, and then into Roosters to finish will be an interesting clash there for sure. But the next 2 are the big target games for Rabbitohs players, and if you have some, hold. If you don't have any, it's probably just a hold off as well, given they'll have a couple of tough ones at the end of the season. Eels are next. They've got the Roosters, the Broncos, and the Dragons. I think they'll be well in these games, but I don't think you've got anyone to really target now, especially with Matto being out. He was probably the main one you might look at. But outside of that now, I think it's just a hold on your Eels players. The Raiders have a pretty tough run now. It's Cowboys away, into Panthers at home, into Roosters away. So I would suggest not to be buying any Raiders at this point. Even, Starling with his low one, I think you can hold off from him now. He'd been on a terrific run and unsure now if he's going to go back to his best work or if that's going to start to become a trend. You probably don't want to take that risk now that he's fairly expensive, and you've got other guys that can do almost as good of a job now, I think, at a similar price. Dragons, their run improves. They got Titans, they got Sharks, and they got Eels. So not the best, not the worst run, but I think they'll be able to do a really solid job here over the next month of footy. Now they've got through a few of those tougher games, so expect Lomax to do really well, and guys like Ben Hunt to continue their good form as well. You've got the Broncos next. They have a bye, obviously, so use those guys as loopers there. Sorry, I've got got an alarm set to watch my mate. He's actually playing. He's a lawn bowls man now, after being got to pro level golf, scratch golfer kind of thing, and now he's playing lawn bowls. There you go, and he's into the final 16 in the Australian Indoor Championships. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to check him out. Starts in a couple of minutes, which will be fun. But yeah, Broncos have got a bye. Sorry for that. Anyway, the loud noise if it radiated through. But Broncos have a bye. Use them as loopers, and then they'll have Eels, Dolphins, Storm to finish off their season, and everyone will play basically. Next up, we've got the Warriors, who still have a bye remaining in the last round. Eagles, Bulldogs, and Sharks. The only ones you'd probably target would be like a Barnet or AFB at this point. And even that, I think you've got other guys that'll play every game, given round 27 will be pretty tough to just jump on them instead. And then the Cowboys to finish. I don't think you're targeting any Cows. There's some merit in potentially moving on from a Drinkwater this week. But up against the Raiders, I think it'll be a fun enough clash, close enough clash at home. And they'll need to bounce back and play well. So I think you're at least waiting this week, and then you could make a decision in round 25 if you're in my position and have a couple out. But hopefully they're the only guys I have out, and I can just use both of them as loopers into that week, and hopefully you can do the same. And if you don't have any, just hold off on those guys. But there you go. That's the final impact the next 3 rounds for this week. Final. Talking crap now. That's enough. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I hope that one helped you guys out in targeting certain teams, and we'll catch you in that next video this afternoon when we go through those team lists.